Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about strings and picks. I get asked all the time, lots of questions about what picks I use and what strings I use, and it suddenly made me realise the other day when I ordered some new picks and strings that I've been using the same brand and the same picks and the same strings for quite a while now, and they never get mentioned, even though these items are in virtually every video, especially if it's obviously a video that involves the guitar being actually played in the video. So I've been using Dunlop strings and Dunlop picks for quite a while now. This is the gauge that I have been using for about 2 years. It is just a 946. It's not very heavy. Some of you guys will probably think, well, that's a really light gauge, why the hell are you using those? And the reason that I use 946 is that I play in drop D. Most of my guitars are actually tuned to drop D and set up in drop D, and the reason for that is because if I want to go to standard tuning, I can have a 946 gauge on and just tighten up the low E, which would be the 46, and I don't have to move anything. Even with my guitars that have Floyd Roses on, I can go from drop D to E standard with 946 strings on and nothing gets out of shape. You know, it just stays virtually the same. The trem will come up a touch, but it's very mild tweaks just to change from one tuning to another with 946s on, and the tension on the strings is pretty good. Also, I like a standard feel on strings. Now, although these are 946, which is basically a regular top end and a heavy bottom, up high when I'm soloing, string bending, hammer-ons, pull-offs, all that, I like that standard 9s feel to my guitar. Now, you guys are probably thinking, well, what the hell happens when he wants to play in drop C or something like that, you know, or even drop B? And I don't play in those tunings that regular anymore, but what I actually do is I use a Digitech drop pedal to get there. So if I use a 946 and I'm in drop D, then I can go down to, say, drop B using the Digitech drop, and because there's plenty of tension on there, or at least enough tension, then I can get away with using the Digitech drop, and we don't lose any sound quality or anything. Everything sounds fine and nobody knows that I'm using the drop pedal, and I even record that way too. I do have two guitars that are still in lower tunings, just for you guys that are interested. They have 5210s on, again Dunlop strings. One is in drop C, that's my King V guitar, my Jackson King V, and the other guitar, my Wolfgang, that's in drop C sharp. But both those guitars have 5210s on, and they are great in both those tunings. But like I say, the majority of my guitars are in I have 946 gauges on them, and they are in drop D, and I can move from standard tuning to drop tuning whenever I want, and then I can use a Digitech drop pedal, which is on my pedal board over there, and that can get me even lower in either, say, a standard A or a drop A tuning. So yeah, that's what I do, and those are the strings I use. Huge thanks to Dunlop for sending those out. Now I want to talk about plectrums, picks. I've just got a pack here from Dunlop, and I don't know how many is in these packs. 36. So that will last me probably about a year and a half, actually, because I'm not gigging and rehearsing at the moment, so I'm not losing them for a start, and I'm not playing my guitar for 3 hours at a time like you would at a rehearsal and grinding picks down. So the picks that I actually use are here. As you can see, these are Jazz 3 Tortex picks, and I use 1.14 millimeters. I'll just prove to you that I do actually use these picks. They are up here. I've just been recording my EP, and there's a few up here. I'll try and get close. I hope the camera zooms in okay. So you can see how small these are, and the reason I like these picks is because I use a lot of pinched harmonics, and the closer the tip of the pick is to your thumb, the easier it is to get those harmonics out. And I use pinched harmonics a lot more than people would actually think that I do, because sometimes I hit power chords and I use pinched harmonics then as well, because sometimes the power chords have a different texture to them. If you do it that way, it doesn't necessarily ring out like a screaming harmonic like it would if it was a single note on, say, a G string. But on the lower string, if you hit a full power chord and you do it with pinched harmonics and clip both strings, it gives a different texture and tone to the chord and really makes it sing nice, especially if you are recording. I do it quite a lot when I'm recording, and I really like that, and it's easier to do with these picks. Also, they're quite pointy. I don't know if you can see how pointy they are. They've got quite a sharp point on them, and that makes it really accurate, especially if you are doing fast alternate chugging, you know, palm muting type riffs. Because the point is sharp, but it is also short because of the size of the pick, then for me you don't get that long piece of pick getting tied up, you know, on the strings. You can bounce around a lot easier and flip past the string rather than getting caught up with a much bigger plectrum. So that's why I use them. Those are the picks that I use, that is the reason. Those are the strings that I use in drop D. Ideally, if I was going to stay in drop D and would never consider tuning up to standard, then I would probably go like a 48.9, maybe even a 59, something like that. But because I do alternate from standard tuning to drop D quite a lot, especially for the videos with the EVH amps, a lot of you guys that are out there that are EVH fans like to hear the amps in standard tuning as well as the metal guys that like them in drop tuning. So that's another reason why I do things the way I do. But yeah, that's what I use. Let me know what you use. Let me know what you think of what I use and what I do. But that just answers a few questions that I get regularly, probably on a weekly basis. At least one of you guys out there will ask me what picks I use and what strings I use. And there's a guy, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, that emails me, messages me a lot. He's constantly changing his gauges of his strings. He's clearly not happy with them, and I just use those and they work for me anyway. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and click the bell. Huge thanks to Dunlop Strings and Picks, and I'll see you all very soon.